up guys, EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my DVD collection 2016 drama part 4. So last time we finished with the Q's, so starting off with the R's up first, we have Rain Man, classic film from 1988, Best Picture winner, directed by Barry Levinson. Fantastic performances, of course, by Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. Up next we have Raise the Red Lantern from 1991, really good film, beautiful looking movie, directed by Zhang Yimou. Up next we have A Raisin in the Sun, a great film starring Sidney Poitier from 1951. Up next we have Random Harvest from 1942, really good film with Ronald Colman and Greer Garson. Up next we have The Razor's Edge from 1946, really good film with Tyrone Power, Gene Tierney, John Payne, and Ann Baxter. Up next we have The Reader from 2008. Of course, Kate Winslet won her Best Actress Oscar for this role, along with Ralph Fiennes. Of course, it got a lot of flack because it got nominated for Best Picture that year, and The Dark Knight didn't. I still enjoyed this film immensely. Up next we have Rebel Without a Cause, classic of course from 1955, starring James Dean and Natalie Wood, probably my favorite James Dean film. Up next we have Reds from 1981, I believe. Yeah, film directed by Warren Beatty, who of course stars in the movie along with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson. Up next we have Requiem for a Dream from 2000, great film directed by Darren Aronofsky, of course, with Ellen Burstyn, fantastic, Jared Leto, Jennifer Connelly, Marlon Wayans, really good film. Up next, another great film from 2008 starring Kate Winslet, Revolutionary Road, directed by Sam Mendes, of course, reteaming Kate and Leo. Michael Shannon, excellent in that film as well. Don't mind the chickens. Sorry. Up next we have The Right Stuff, to this special edition, classic film from 1983, of course, about the space age and the space race. Up next we have A River Runs Through It, terrific film directed by Robert Redford, of course, from 1992 with Brad Pitt, Craig Sheffer, and Tom Skerritt. Just beautiful cinematography, great movie, that one. Up next we have The Robe from 1953, really good film with Richard Burton, Gene Simmons, Victor Mature, and Michael Rennie. Up next we have Room at the Top, really good British film from 1959, starring Lawrence Harvey and Simone Signoret. Yeah, I saw this in the film class back in college. Up next we have Runaway Jury from 2003. Yeah, really good courtroom drama, of course, with John Cusack, Rachel Weisz, Gene Hackman, and Dustin Hoffman. Underrated. Okay, up next we have Salvador, Oliver Stone film from 1986 with James Woods, Jim Belushi. Yeah, really good film. Up next we have Son of a Woman, yeah, great film directed by Martin Brest from 1992, of course, with Al Pacino and Chris O'Donnell. Hooah! Alright, up next we have Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List, of course, his masterpiece from 1993, starring Liam Neeson, Ben Kingsley, Joseph Fiennes, Ralph Fiennes, sorry. Okay, up next we have Secondhand Lions from 2003. Yeah, decent little movie with Robert Duvall and Michael Caine, Haley Joel Osment. Okay, up next on Blu-ray we have Selma from 2014. Yeah, really good film, starring David Oyelowo. Up next we have Sense and Sensibility, of course, based on the classic by Jane Austen from 1995. with Emma Thompson, who wrote the screenplay, won the Academy Award for this. Yeah, Kate Winslet, Alan Rickman, and Hugh Grant. Up next, we have Sex, Lies, and Videotape from 1989. Yeah, really good film. I forget who directed this. Yeah, Steven Soderbergh, that's right. Yeah, really good film from the late 80s. Up next, we have Shame on Blu-ray from 2011. Yeah, really good film directed by Steve McQueen, starring Michael Fassbender and Carey Mulligan. Can't get it back in, of course. Okay, up next we have The Shawshank Redemption. One of my all-time favorite films, of course. Classic, directed by Frank Darabont from 1994. Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, just fantastic. Love this movie. Seen it dozens of times now. Up next we have Shine from 1996. Of course, Jeffrey Rush won Best Actor that year for this film. Up next we have The Shipping News from 2001. Yeah, really good film. Lasse Hallström film with Kevin Spacey, Julianne Moore, Cate Blanchett, and Judi Dench. Up next we have Silkwood from 1984 with Meryl Streep, Kurt Russell, and Cher. Really decent Mike Nichols film. Up next we have Silver Linings Playbook, yeah, directed by David O. Russell from 2012. Really good movie. Great performance by Jennifer Lawrence, of course. Bradley Cooper, Robert De Niro, Jackie Weaver, and Chris Tucker, who we don't hear much from these days, but he was good in that. Up next we have A Single Man from 2009. Really good movie, really beautiful looking movie as well, directed by Tom Ford, starring Colin Firth and Julianne Moore. Up next we have Sleepers, really underrated Barry Levinson film from 1996, set in New York. Sort of a tale of kids messing up when they're young, and then they get sent to juvenile hall and then take revenge in their adult years. Yeah, Kevin Bacon, Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, Jason Patric, and Brad Pitt. Okay, up next we have Sling Blade, also from 1996, of course, directed by Billy Bob Thornton, who of course starred in the movie and won the Academy Award for his performance. Up next we have Danny Boyle's Slumdog Millionaire from 2008, of course, Best Picture winner that year, runaway hit of 2008. Okay, up next we have The Social Network, fantastic film, of course, directed by David Fincher. Jesse Eisenberg, really good. Rooney Mara, Justin Timberlake, Armie Hammer. Just a fantastic movie, just a great film, great script, great music. Up next we have The Song of Bernadette from 1943 with Jennifer Jones. Up next we have Sophie's Choice from 1982, really one of Meryl Streep's best performances of the 80s with Kevin Kline and Peter MacNicol. Up next we have Summer of Sam from 1999, a little underrated as far as Spike Lee films go, with John Leguizamo and Mira Sorvino, all about the, I think it takes place in the summer of 1977, during the Summer of Sam killings, sort of racial tensions in the neighborhood, that kind of stuff. Good movie. Up next we have The Spirit of St. Louis from 1957, Billy Wilder film with Jimmy Stewart about Charles Lindbergh. Up next we have Splendor in the Grass, great film produced by Elia Kazan with Natalie Wood and Warren Beatty. Up next we have The Station Agent from 2003. Yeah, really good little movie with Peter Dinklage and Patricia Clarkson. Yeah, really cool film from that year. Up next we have A Streetcar Named Desire, of course based on the Tennessee Williams classic from 1951. Again, directed by Elia Kazan with Vivian Lee and Marlon Brando. Oh, my arm is really tired. Up next, we have The Sweet Hereafter from, I think, 1997. Yeah, winner, 97 Cannes Film Festival Grand Prize. Yeah, really good film, directed by Atsum Magoyan with Ian Holm. There he is, old Bilbo on the back. Up next, we have Syriana from 2005. Terrific movie from that year, of course, about the oil industry with George Clooney, Matt Damon, and Jeffrey Wright. Up next, we have Taking Woodstock from 2009. Yeah, directed by Ang Lee, starring comedian Dimitri Martin. Yeah, really good little film. Takes place during Woodstock, of course. Up next, we have Talk Radio from 1988. Of course, I know Scott Cinnamam is a big fan of this film, directed by Oliver Stone, starring Eric Bogosian. Great movie, of course, and a great performance by him. Up next, we have The Terminal from 2004. Yeah, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Tom Hanks and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Tom Hanks in an airport. What a surprise. Okay, up next we have Terms of Endearment from 1983. A really good film with Deborah Winger, Shirley MacLaine, and Jack Nicholson, who's fantastic in this movie. Directed by James L. Brooks. Up next on Blu-ray we have The Theory of Everything. Yeah, really good film from 2013, of course, starring Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones, about Stephen Hawking. Redmayne won Best Actor that year. Up next, we have There Will Be Blood, of course, Paul Thomas Anderson's masterpiece from 2007, with another fantastic performance by Daniel Day-Lewis as an oil press prospector. Paul Dano, really good in this film as well. You drink my milkshake. Up next, we have 13 Days from 2000. Yeah, really good film. Directed by Roger Donaldson, about the Cuban Missile Crisis with Kevin Costner and Bruce Greenwood. Next, we have This Boy's Life from 1993, one of Leo DiCaprio's earliest performances with Robert De Niro and Ellen Barkin. It's based on the book by Toby Wolfe, who my dad used to pick up and drive around a few years back. Up next, we have A Time to Kill from 1996. Terrific movie. Fantastic cast. Samuel L. Jackson, Matthew McConaughey, Sandra Bullock, Kevin Spacey. Really good film directed by Joel Schumacher. Up next, we have To Kill a Mockingbird from 1962. Yeah, classic. One of the best American films of all time with Gregory Peck. Really good addition to that, the Universal Legacy series. Up next, we have Terrence Malick's The Tree of Life from 2011 with Brad Pitt, Sean Penn, and Jessica Chastain. Palme d'Or winner at Cannes that year. Yeah, it's a trippy movie. I didn't love it first viewing, but I've grown to like it since then. Okay, up next we have Peter Weir's The Truman Show from 1998. One of my favorite films, starring Jim Carrey. Just fantastic movie. What's the name? Laura Linney, fantastic as his wife, and Ed Harris as well. Brilliant as the mastermind behind the whole thing. Noah, what's his name? Noah Emmerich, good as well as the best friend. He's a good actor as well. Love that movie. Up next, we have Two Women from 1961. Great Italian film directed by Vittorio De Sica with Sophia Loren. Okay, up next we have Sidney Lumet's The Verdict from 1982, one of Paul Newman's best performances. Great movie. Okay, up next we have Veronica Guerin from 2003. Another Joel Schumacher film, really good movie with Cate Blanchett, of course, as a British reporter investigating the drug industry in Dublin, in Ireland, and of course she got murdered for it. Up next we have A Very Long Engagement, another film by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who directed Amélie, of course, which also starred Audrey Tautou. This one not as good, but still a really good film. Okay, moving on down. Up next we have The Virgin Suicides from 2000. Really beautiful film about a teen suicide, of course, starring Kirsten Dunst, Josh Hartnett, James Woods, and Kathleen Turner, directed by Sofia Coppola. Up next, we have Oliver Stone's W from 2008, I want to say, with Josh Brolin, of course, as George W. Bush. Richard Dreyfuss, really good as Don Chaney. Yeah, good movie, even if you're not a Bush fan. Up next, of course, we have Oliver Stone's Wall Street from 1987, 20th anniversary edition. Classic, of course, of Michael Douglas, Charlie Sheen, and Daryl Hannah. Wasn't really a fan of the sequel. Again, another film I didn't think needed a sequel. Up next, we have Water for Elephants on Blu-ray from 2010. Yeah, a good little movie with Robert Pattinson, Reese Witherspoon, and Christoph Waltz about the circus. Okay, up next we have The Weatherman from 2005. Really good film with Nicolas Cage, Hope Davis, and Michael Caine. Yeah, Nick Cage made a bunch of good movies in the early to mid 2000s, and that's one of them. Up next we have What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Of course, another early Leo DiCaprio performance from 1993, and of course Johnny Depp as well. Yeah, really heartbreaking film. Directed by Curtis Hanson, I believe. Up next we have Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Classic, of course, from 1966 with, at the time, I think, real-life couple Liz Taylor and Richard Burton. Yeah, just fantastic performances by those two in this movie. Up next, on Blu-ray, we have The Wolf of Wall Street, one of my favorite films of 2013, of course, directed by Martin Scorsese. Another fantastic performance by Leo DiCaprio. Jonah Hill, really good. Margot Robbie as well. Yeah, really sexy. Love her in this. A little excessive at times with the party scenes and the drugs and the alcohol, but I think that's kind of the point of that film. Okay, up next we have The Words from 2012, also on Blu-ray. Yeah, good little movie with Bradley Cooper, Jeremy Irons, Dennis Quaid, Olivia Wilde, and Zoe Saldana, about a writer who basically steals another guy's work and takes credit for it. Up next we have The Year of Living Dangerously, another good Peter Weir film from 1982 with Mel Gibson and Sigourney Weaver. Up next we have The Young Victoria from 2008. Yeah, one of my favorite films that year. Love Emily Blunt, become a big fan of her over the years, and she's fantastic in this movie. And last but not least, ending on the Z's, we have Zorba the Greek from 1964 with Anthony Quinn, Alan Bates, and Irene Papas. And there you have Drama Part 4. So up next will be Espionage, and that will thankfully only be one video or one part. So thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see ya.
Bond. James Bond.